Hello, everybody, and welcome to another session for the DST track. Please, can you confirm that you can hear me loud and clear?
I can hear you, man.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So, did you get a chance to go through the notebook from the last session? Did anybody get a chance to go through the notebook from the last session? Any challenges? All right. So we'll be continuing from where we stopped in our last class. The goal is to scrape all the books that are available on that website. So that's what we'll be continuing with. So I'll just share my screen and get started with that. All right, can you see my screen? Can you see my screen, guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so just to refresh ourselves with what we're doing, our goal, we're taking a look at this website, bookstoscript.com, and the goal is we want to pull the data, retrieve like all the books from this website. We want to generate like a data set comprising of all the books that are currently available on this website. And what we were able to do in our last class was we were able to get a list of all the links to the books that we have on the first page. So we're able to get a list of all the links to all these books. But now we want to do some want to go a bit deeper, right? And try and understand, okay, how can we get the rest of this data so that we can use it in our analysis? So I'll just go through what we did last time again. Just quickly here, we basically install the necessary libraries that we need, request and BS4, where we use the beautiful soup module, right, to pass our HTML. And then we're able to retrieve by taking a look at the attributes, right, within the article tag, we were able to retrieve our products that we need. And also, we're able to retrieve the links where, remember we said that these links were not correct URLs in themselves. So we had to do some joining, string concatenation to be able to get the full link. And that's what we have here. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to be iterating through this list of links and trying to get the data from the website. So first things first, remember, first step in web scraping is that you want to get the data with the request library. So first things first, let's use functions this time around. Let's write a function to help us get the data, help us download data from a link. So you see, if you're using Colab, you have the completion feature, right? That you can use to help you generate some of the things you need, right? But then this is why I decided to use Jupyter Notebook last time, but then we'll stick with trying to work with it ourselves. I'm using this today because I want to be able to easily share this with you guys at the end of this class. So we can go ahead and get requests. Okay. But then I want us to first of all confirm that our status code is going to be this. So if our status code is not equal to 100, but would rather say if our status code is equal to 200, so rather say if it's equal to 200, right, we want to go ahead and process it, right? We want to go ahead and get the text. So r.content, and then we go ahead and process that. So this is basically downloading the data for us. This basically downloads the data for us. So we send a GET request to our URL. We confirm that the response that we get is a response indicating success from the status code. And then we get the text that we want. And then we go ahead. We can either go ahead and process this with Beautiful Soup in here, right? So that what we get at once, what we get is just going to be our processed content, right? We won't just remember when we tried to do this. This is what we had. Sorry, yeah, this is what we had. Yeah, and we had it like with its the whole HTML structure and everything, the way it is. But then when you pass it with Beautiful Soup, you get a more like a much better structure that you can work with and work with all of the components within it, all of the tags, all of the text and all of that. So that's what we're doing here. So we'll have this and then we'll go ahead and next we want to define another function. I want to take a look at each of, let's start with, let's see. Okay, let's start with a light in the attic. Start with a light in the article, try to get the title, we'll try to get the pricing. So to do that, I just need to inspect my elements. And then I need to figure out what tag, what element here is responsible for this title, a light in the attic. So I can see here that we have still under product page, we have our class here, product page. Okay, yeah. Have our class here, product page. That sort of covers everything, right? Where's the product page again? Yes, sort of covers everything. If you just take your mouse over these things, you see which ones, what each of these elements is representing. So that's how you know, okay, this is the one I'm looking for, and this is the tag that's representing this element. So for the entire product, for the entire content on this page, right? So you can see that the container for that is this article that we worked with. But let's look for this. Let's look for H1, right? So we're going to be assuming that H1 is the first thing that we're going to find on this page. The first H1 that we find on this page is going to be light in the attic. So let's do that and let's see what we have. Put that in. Okay, so basically what this is doing is the first full link that we have, which is light in attic, which is what we want to work with. So calling our function and passing in the very first link. So let's do that. And now we can go ahead and say soup dot find H1. So like we assumed, remember we said we were going to assume that the very first H1 that we would find, because find is going to look out for the very first whatever tag you pass in here within the HTML tree that Beautiful Soup has passed is going to look out for the very first H1 element in there. And we see that that is the light in the article. If it wasn't the first one, it would have given us the first one, and then we'll still go ahead and try to drill down and see what is the next one. So we have our title as a light in the attic, right? So the next thing we want to look at is the price. So we have a class here. So we have price, we have a class here, price column. So the P tag that is responsible for this has a class called price color. So we can identify that by simply saying price color, right? So we can say, just copy this and do this, and then say, so what I'm doing here is I'm trying to find it by its attributes, right? Not exactly by, here I put in the tag, the element, what we know as the HTML element. But here I'm trying to find it by the element attributes, the class. So let's do that and see what this gives us. And so we see that this is what we get. Okay. So next thing we're going to do is, do we want to get in stock data? Do we want to get if it's available or not? Let's go ahead and do that. Let's just go ahead and get if it's like if it's in stock and if it's available, right? So same thing we're going to do, pick this class and work with it. So we have this. If you notice, I just worked with, there are two words here in stock and availability, representing like two classes here. So I just decided to pick one of the classes, availability, and work with it. I don't necessarily have to pick both of them, okay? Picking one would still lead me to what I want to work with. Then let's try to get the rating. That's an important data we want to have. But interestingly, there's no let's see. There, there's no, okay, let me go back here. There's no data per se available for this. So let me show you what I mean. Let's pick this class and let's try to process it. So we have star rating as the class. So this is just indicating like spacing, right? White space. This, you can see that there's no text. It's not what we are expecting. There was no text attached to this. So where is the information that we need about the rating? Where are we going to get it? If you notice that you'll find it within the attributes. So this doesn't provide us with much details. Let's see. we can't really script this. So it doesn't really provide us with text that we can script that would inform us, okay, this is the kind of rating. But we see that we have it here that this is 3. And so that's what we're going to script. So we'll go ahead and pick the attributes and try to get the class as well. So one thing we can do, we can combine tags and attributes. So I've shown you how to use a tag, which is the element. I've shown you how to use an attribute like class. We also looked at href, but you can combine both. So we'll do that here. And this time around, though, we are not looking at the text. Unlike here, the information we needed was in the text. Rather, this time around, the information we need is in the class. So we'll go ahead and try that and let's see. So we see that is the second thing here. So what we're going to do is go ahead and pick that, right? And we confirm that that's what we want. Okay, so the rating is 3. So the next thing we'll be looking at is some product information, the price excluding tax, price including tax, tax. So we have availability here. We have number of reviews as well. So let's try to pick that, right? So I'm trying to inspect the elements, and what I see here is this is contained in a table. Okay, so we'll go ahead and try to scrape this, try to pull out this information. Price excluding tax. We can actually look, so to do this, I'm going to show you how to use like text to actually look out for what you want. So let's copy this. So this gives us this has found the string for us, right? But let's say we want to know what the next element is. So we can see that, let me show you from Beautiful. So when you are searching your tree, when you're navigating the tree, right, you can afford to go down, can afford to go up. So you can afford to navigate upwards. You start from a tag and try to figure out what are the parent elements. You start from a tag and try to figure out what are the children elements. And then you can also go sideways, right? You start from a tag and try to figure out what the next elements are. Okay, so that's what we are going to be doing. Okay, so for this, we have the next element, and then we're going to take the text, right? Sorry, yeah. what did we do? Okay, yes, next element, and then the text. Okay, so that's what we have. Um, any questions so far? Can you still see my screen? Any questions so far?
You can see your screen.
Okay, all right. So let's just go ahead and continue. We'll do the same thing for price, including task. And we'll do the same thing for the tax, right? Okay, so we are good. Um, we've already gotten availability. We could also get the number of reviews. So the reason that I'm doing next element and all of that is because, as you've seen here, so we have table header, then we have like the table data, right? Kind of. So I know what's like this should be. I know what the should I say the heading column should be, right? And then I know what's the data on the other. I don't know how to access the data on the other side. So I need to have it like a key value pair kind of thing. And so being able to access like what the heading should be helps me to access by using next element. I'm also able to access what the data should actually be. So I'm going to get the number of reviews, which is the final thing we'll get before we put this in a function and then try to run it for the rest of the documents. Number of reviews, just going to copy that, put that here, copy this. Okay, run that as well. Okay, so let's go to number of reviews and see what we have. Interesting, the number of reviews does not give us um it doesn't give us the very next element, which is this. So we'll try a couple of other approaches. Let's see. Oh, okay. So there are a couple of other ways that we can try to get this, because this is not exactly strange behavior. Sometimes when you're passing HTML documents, the documentation will tell you that using the next element and next sibling can sometimes give you, like, instead of like tags as the next thing that you get, you might get some strings that are available within the document. So this is sometimes to be expected. So what we're going to be doing is we're just going to try and find a much more reliable way to get this, since this is not working out. So I'm just going to come to the documentation and see what other tags we can use, what other functions we can use. Okay, so we see that there is actually a new line. There's actually a new line directly, even though we can't find it here, but there's a new line directly after the number of reviews, which doesn't allow us to access the next element here. But then it's still contained in part of the siblings here. Okay, so I would say that an alternative approach, so that we are getting what we want accurately, would be to try and look through each of these. So we have class subheader here. Let me see. Let's just try to pick out the whole table itself, and then try to get the table headers and table, like this data, right, for each of the table rows that are available. So this is an alternative approach I'm going to show you. So first, I want to confirm that if I try to pick out the first table that I'll try to pick out from that document is going to be that table. If that's the case, then I won't be needing any other form of identification. So since this is the case, I won't need to use any other form of identification like the class or whatever. This is sufficient. Just using table is sufficient because it's the first element in that document, the first table element in that document. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find all table rows. Actually, that's what I want to do. Actually, I want to try and find all table rows, and then from there I want to try and find all table rows, and then within the table rows I want to try and find the table header and the table the data, right, for that table header. So that's what I'll be doing here. I'll look through this for row in this. For row in this, I'm going to try to find row dot find. I can do this because find all is going to return tags for us, right? So I can still afford to apply the find Right. So I can just try to print this. So see if what we have is what we're expecting. So as you can see, we've actually been able to get all of the data there. So including the number of reviews, right? So let's put everything that we've gotten so far into a dictionary and just try to, um, into a function and then have our data returned as a dictionary. And then we're going to go ahead and run it for all of the links that we have. So I'll do the first page, and as an exercise, I would want you guys to go ahead and do the second page, right? So figure out how to look through for the second page and get the complete set of data and apply the whatever we're going to be applying afterwards. So get data. So we're going to be using the beautiful, so we're going to be, as our input is going to be the beautiful soup object that we got when we passed the downloaded content. So we'll do that, and then let's just copy and paste what we've done so far. Okay. Then we would have this as price. And we'll have availability. Our ratings. Our price excluding tax. Let's not bother with this. Let's just go with this since this contains everything that we want. So we're going to do this. Copy this. I want to make this a dictionary. So let me just do that here first before we pull that into our function. So what I can do here is I can say for I can make this the key, the header the key. Using this value, using paired to this value. Then I go ahead and specify what the row is, where it is gotten from. So this is what we have. We've been able to get a dictionary from this. So we'll just put this back here. And I'll just call it, let's say, more details. Yeah, that's just more info, yeah. So I'll just go ahead and copy this and paste it there. So with this, I'm almost ready to complete this. I just need to make this, I need to include all of this in a function. I'm sorry, I need to include all of this in a dictionary, right? I want the final output of this function to be a dictionary. So I'll just go ahead and specify, like initiate an empty dictionary of some sort, or maybe not. We don't need to do that. We can just specify the dictionary at the end, since we're not going to be adding these details as we go. I'll just add it at the end. So let's do that. Let's have our final result. Let's call it result equals to, okay, this is pretty cool anyway. So, but this is what we want. So we want the title to be this, we want the price to be this, we want the availability. We're basically just, we already, the variable we used actually corresponds with what we actually want it to be called, so in the dictionary. So we'll just go ahead and do this, but then for more details, you can do that. You can also work with the result.update. More details, right? Make things a little more explicit, and then you should be able to have this. So let's try this out with one of our links. So first we need to download the URL, which is good, which gives us the soup object, the beautiful soup object, which is then going to be passed on to this function. So I should probably just bring this down to where we're working so that it doesn't feel so far away. And then I should also bring the full, or not, I'll just call another full link here. We need to, let's work with the very first one. Right, we know it's going to be this one. So let's do that. We can specify here that our link is going to be download data. And then we specify the link here. And let's see what we have. So we've been able to get this. It's not looking bad. Yeah, we've been able to get this. The next thing to do would be to run this through for all of the links. We can do our cleaning when we get the full list, right? It's not looking bad, it's not looking great either. There are a lot of, if we want to do analysis with this, which is the end goal of this process, this is just, we're just introducing you to web scraping so that it can enable you get data for whatever like analysis you might want to do, but it's the data that you need. It's probably on some websites and it's not readily available as something you can download. You can always do. So what we're just going to do is let's put this into a data frame, and then from there we'll consider cleaning this up a bit if our time allows us. So what we're going to do is just loop through the links. So for link in this, so what is this doing basically? For link in full links, I don't want to print this. Rather, I want to put it into a list, right? So that I can easily pass it to a data frame function and have a pandas data frame, basically. So I'll initiate my list here. So I'll go ahead and say data dot append this. Okay, so data dot append, basically when you have processed this is just a chaining together of functions, right? So when I have gotten my data, downloaded it, first things first, of course, is starting with the innermost one. I'm downloading my data. Then after that, whatever link, downloading data, right, with the link from here, whatever downloaded data is returning, which is the super object, is going to get passed to this. And then finally, this is going to be done. Data is going to be appended to this. So let's go ahead and do that and see what we have. So let's run it. Let's do data, see what we have. Okay. Okay. It's not looking bad. Let's try to get a sense of how many books we were able to get. I'm expecting 50. It's less than or something wrong. Okay, we have 20. So let's see what could be the issue. Why do we have 20? Okay, showing 1 to 20. I think I must have. Okay, page 1 of 50. I mistook the page 1 of 50 to mean that there were like 50 documents here, 50 books here, but apparently it's just 20. So 20 were in order. So if I'm going to leave figuring out how to, let me see. Let me see. I just want to quickly check. Okay. So, but I'm going to leave figuring out how to get the rest of the document, how to get the rest of the books to you guys. So you need to get all 1,000 books, but we just got for page 1. So you need to figure out how to get the rest of the books. I will give you a hint, but I think it's fair that you try. And if you have any issues, you can reach out to me on Slack. So, but let's keep it going. So now that we have this, we can afford to pass it to our data frame, right? Data frame object. Yeah, but there's a little issue. We don't have pandas in this notebook. So, okay. So go ahead and import it. And that should be fixed. All right. So this is data that we have, very detailed data. Data. One more thing I would have loved for us to do, which is would be very useful, is if you come here, you can see that there is the genre of this book, right? So it would be nice to get that, right? Let's see. So we have class here, breadcrumb, and then we have the list. We have all of these list items within this list. This is some type of list. Not sure. I think maybe Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
hear you now.
Yeah, I realized I just got muted. I don't know why. Okay, so let me go back to sharing my. Can you see my screen though?
Not at all.
Okay. Okay, so I think we're good now, right?
Yes, ma.
Okay. All right, so I'll go ahead and see if breadcrumb is a unique class to this item. So let's just quickly do that. We already have our soup variable hanging out here, not inside the function, so we can afford to do that. So find class breadcrumb. An interesting name. Okay, so breadcrumb is unique. So we can just decide that it should be the third. Let's see, should be the third list there. So we'll do find li. We can decide to do find all li in this case, and then go ahead and say give us a third one, right? So we know that this is returning a list. So we just decide that we want to pick the third item in the list, right? So let's see, this is 1, 2, 3. So yeah, definitely the third item. So we'll go ahead and pick the text from here. And so this is what we have. So we can afford to add this to our function, okay? So let's just add that the okay. So I'll run this again. Run this again. Okay. Is it included? I don't think I can find it. Okay, no, it's not. So yes, we did not add it to our final result. Okay, so we are good to go. So we can do this now. So what this is just do you guys still have access to this notebook? Can someone just quickly check and confirm that you can? Yeah.
We still have access to it.
So you have access to what's being done right now. Okay, that's good.
Yes.
Is there
Yes.
anybody class that did not?
I did not get it. I mean, I don't have access to it.
This, yes, we've run this and this. Oh wow. Okay, sorry, I've been disconnected. So let's just give it a minute. Okay, good. So we have our data frame with the full data that we need. So we can go ahead and try to do some data cleaning. So I'll just see, let's just pick let's see. Let's pick the column names and just try to make them uniform in the sense that we want everything to have like to like we don't want there's some disparity here with some being capitalized and some in lowercase. We want everything there to be some form of uniformity, right? So let's have everything in lowercase. So that's just one scenario of data cleaning I've seen that needs to be done here. There's several others. We need to get rid of this new line, new lines. We need to get rid of the what was supposed to be the currency sign. We need to get rid. We can decide to map this to an actual number. You can decide to do that. You may decide not to do that. I don't think it's really necessary because there's not going to be like any form of calculation, or they may be. I mean, if you want to find the average rating for a particular genre, so it might be useful to do that. So that's some other thing that we can do here. And some other thing that we can do is can decide to drop some columns. So first things first, I'll get started with the column names, and then most likely in our next class, yes, we're going to complete this and move on to doing some visualizations with that. So do I have this in a variable? No. So I have to put it in a variable. And then go ahead and try to rename. Let's just see the column names first. Okay. So for column in column names, let's see what we can do. But let's do lower, right? Okay, so this is what we have. So let's do a replace. I think so I can decide to call this I can decide to make a dictionary out of this, right? I can decide to make a dictionary out of this that I want to pass to this. So I think I didn't see that, but I think I saw that was suggested. So, but if you want to do that, you can just have your new column names, sort of new columns. Yeah, it's definitely suggested. So this is what we have instead of this. And so we can just pass this to new columns. Then okay. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the documentation to confirm this. Mm, I know I probably have the function mixed up in my head, but Okay. Yeah, there's a mix up somewhere. Sorry about this. So I'll sort this out, and then in our next class we'll do the real what's data cleaning. So there's definitely a function that helps us to, sorry, I've forgotten it right now. There's definitely a function that helps us to do this replacement easily. So, but because of time, I'm going to pause this here. I know that my time is up. I'll just pause this here. I would probably include it after this call so that you guys that are working with it can go ahead and get to this point. But do you have any questions? I have like 2 minutes left before the class ends. Do you have any questions?
Yes, actually I do.
Okay, yes, please go ahead.
So all this process to just get the data.
All this process just to get data. Yes. Yes, but it's not often the case. This might work when maybe you want to access some external data and the website doesn't provide APIs that you can work with. So I'm sorry, I know my time is up. So a lot of websites would provide you with APIs, but sometimes some websites would not. Web scraping comes in. So yes, this is one of, it seems like a lot, but it's really not a lot once you get used to it. Okay, my time is up, so have a lovely evening,
Please,
guys.
I don't have the document, and I've sent you a message on Slack since last week. I
What's
don't
your name? What's your name?
Mercy Shalom. I was in class, but I thought someone
Okay,
asked
all
that we
right, Mercy. All right, myself. Send the document to you. Okay,
thank you.
thank you.